Hey folks, it's Owen here again with another battle report, and we've continued on with our Swedish Comp. It has been changed to 2,200 points, so our army lists are slightly different. Well, obviously Dave's is completely different because he now has all his models and a good choice of models to use. I've changed mine a little bit as well, and it's quite good. It's a 9.3 and his is a 9.7, so there's no victory point swing either way, so it's just a straight battle off. So it just depends on how the game goes and we see how we work it out. Alright, so let's get on. So we have rolled Dawn Attack, and it's my High Elves versus Dave's Dark Elves, and it's 2,200 Swedish Comp. So we fire onto my spells, and I get myself Fiery Convocation, Arcane Forging, Walk Between Worlds, and Soul Quench. And I think I had Apotheosis, and then I took Soul Quench instead. I figure I'm probably going to need it against these type of things rather than Apotheosis, because I don't think I really will use that much. And onto my deployment. Main objective was to get as many units as I could spread across, so he wouldn't have his shades scouting in behind me. And the objective was achieved there, we did that, but because of what happened, I now have my main unit over here on the right hand side. The main unit I have is my 24 Spearmen who have full command and the Banner of Discipline, and in there is my General who is my Archmage. He's got the Book of Hoeth and the Talisman of Preservation. Plus I have my BSB in there as well, who's got the Reaver Bow and the Potion of Strength. Unfortunately they're kind of far away from everybody, so they mightn't be much use to me for a good few turns, but at least they'll be kind of safe for a few turns, so I suppose you're trading it off there really. Just below that I have the Bolt Thrower, and beside them I have Frost Phoenix. I have a big unit of Phoenix Guard, 24 of them, and they have a full command and a Razor Standard. A couple of count-as models there because I don't actually have 24 yet, but I will hopefully for the next game. And then I have 5 Silver Helms, just Shields and Musicians, mainly because I wanted to fill out some core, and I didn't want to have a bigger unit of archers than I already have. And I think they're kind of fun to use for a little bit anyway. And over onto the left hand side, I have a Bolt Thrower there on the right hand side, 18 archers there in the centre, who are sitting beside 12 Sisters of Avalorn, who are not actually sisters, but they are on the way, and I will have them ready for the next game. So I have a little placer there just to tell me who they are. And then I've 2 units of Aurelian Reavers. Now here they have actually vanguarded, but because there are shades in the little wood there, the Reavers, the first unit of Reavers there, can't go any further because they'd be within 12. Now I had said this to Dave when he put them down, and I said, Jesus Dave, that's a great move. You've really blocked me in here. I'm kind of stuck because of my rolls. And he went, what are you talking about? So I said, screw you Dave, you didn't know about that, but you do now. So at least this is going to be a useful game for Dave, knowing what his units will do. And that's my deployment. And onto the Dark Elf deployment. And Dave did exactly the same as me when he was rolling, and his big unit of Doomfire Warlocks and his Supreme Sorceress have been moved over onto the right hand side. So we are pretty far away from each other, which probably won't be too bad for me, but he won't care because he's fast cav and he's got Doom Bolts coming out of his arse. She has got Talisman of Preservation and a Dispel Scroll, and she's on the lower Shadow, so that's going to be a problem, of course. He's got 5 Dark Riders who have kind of vanguarded over there a little bit. He couldn't go too close to me because I moved up first with my guys. He's got 30 Executioners there with a Musician and a Standard Bearer, and they have the BSB in the unit as well, who's got the Razor Standard. So if they do happen to get into any of my units, they will chop them up very, very quickly, because I think they're Strength 6 armor person. That's pretty tough going. Then to the right, he has 20 Dark Shards, who are just your standard crossbowmen, Dark Elf crossbowmen, -1 to all that sort of stuff, and they have a Banner of Eternal Flame, so they've got a nice little banner on them as well. And then in the woods just below them, he has 10 Shades, who have great weapons and light armor. And on the right hand side then for Dave, well the middle and the right hand side, he's got 2 Bolt Throwers sitting nicely on a hill there looking down at me, 5 Dark Riders who vanguarded up there a little bit as well, and a War Hydra there on the right hand side with the Fiery Breath upgrade as well, so any combat he gets into he's going to be breathing all over me. So I tried to steal the initiative and I failed, so Dark Elf turn 1. Hydra bombs up the right hand side and the Dark Riders just come across here just to get a couple of shots on my units and to really just make a nuisance of themselves, because they know that if they are there I'm going to have a problem probably going up towards those Bolt Throwers. So tough little unit to get rid of, you know. So with our Dark Elf movement, the crossbowmen just move over there just to get a better view of me. Executioners move down to see if they can get themselves into a nice position for a bit of combat as well. And then he moves his Dark Riders just in front of my Reavers. and then his main unit down towards the Reavers as well. Well, I wasn't quite sure what was going on there, and to be honest, I was very happy to see it, because the further away they are from my Spearmen and my Archmage, the better. Magic phase, and Dave was very happy to have a Doombolt at disposal, and he wanted to see what would happen if he did a 6 dice Doombolt with 46 strength 4 or strength 5 hits on these guys. So he promptly miscast, killed all the Reavers, and the result of miscast was nobody died. So that's not going to bode very well for my army for the rest of the game. So on to some more Dark Elf shooting, and we only lose one of our Reavers to the crossbows of the Dark Riders, which was quite good considering they have so many shots. So that's not too bad. But my lovely guys over here take another shot off a Dark Rider, and on a 3+ save I promptly fail and I lose myself a Silver Helm. And then the Shades open up and they take out a load of my sisters, so this turn hasn't gone very well for me. And then the Ball Throwers open up, one misses and the other one hits and takes 2 wounds off the Frost Phoenix, so things aren't looking too good. So High Elf turn 1. I didn't fancy my Frost Phoenix going in for a big war with a Hydra, so I decided to declare a charge on Dark Riders instead. Now I'd forgotten I actually have Terror on this guy and they would have had to take a panic test, but it didn't really matter because he fled anyway. So he rolled himself, I think his was the 6, 5 and 1 there, mine was the 4 and the 3, but he flew off and I only went 4 inches, so it has left me in a problem with the Hydra, but I am planning on doing something later on, so I'm okay. Outer movement then, and I decided not to move anybody else except for the Silver Helms. I wanted to move them up as fast as I could so they could threaten those Bolt Throwers, and hopefully he would be aiming at them instead of the Frost Phoenix. I'd sooner get rid of those guys than I would my Phoenix, you know. So High Elf Magic Phase. First spell I cast is a Soul Quench. I said, well, I'll do a low one. Well, throw 3 dice at it and see if I can get rid of maybe a scroll, maybe a couple of dice. So I promptly double 6'd it. And the good news is I got 3 wounds off his Hydra, which is pretty cool, which is good for me. Unfortunately, the miscast results in me exploding, which means that my Spearman Bunker takes a big hit. 9 guys are dead. Mage manages to pass his ward save after he takes the hit, and just about manages to get not sucked into the warp, which is great, because if I had lost this guy, it's game over, because his magic phase is just going to be lethal, and if I don't have any way decent magic phase, I'm dead. So I only lost 1 pair of dice after I rolled my dice to see what I lost, so I still had 4 left. So at least I get a chance to cast the actual spell I wanted to cast in the magic phase, which is Walk Between Worlds. So I only rolled a small one, as I only had a few dice left, which meant I could only move him 10, but that would be just enough for me to go past that Hydra and get into a decent bit of range for his Bolt Throwers. Luckily enough, Dave failed the spell, so I moved my Phoenix up. So on to me shooting, and the archers did nothing because these guys are skirmishers and they're in a fucking wood, so they were useless. But the sisters were a different story. The sisters killed 3 guys, which is pretty good. So that's great news. No panic from them, but at least there's more of them dead. And the Reaver Bow takes out their Hydra, which is wonderful stuff. It means I have a couple of Bolt Thrower shots, and I didn't use my Potion of Strength either, so I still have that. So good stuff. And then a Bolt Thrower lets loose and only kills 1 Dark Rider, unfortunately. The other Bolt Thrower I had elected to shoot at his Bolt Throwers just to see if I could pop one off. Of course I didn't. So I probably should have shot at these guys instead, but never mind. So Dark Elf turn 2, and the Dark Riders fail to rally, which is great stuff. So off they go. Didn't go off the board, but at least they're gone for another turn. So when, well, I suppose they are fast calves. When they rally, they'll be running around. But you never know, he might fail. And then as we moved along, Dave said to himself, or actually he said to me, he said, my bad, I actually forgot to roll for this wood. And I said, well, I completely forgot as well. So listen, we can leave it if you want, but fair play to Dave, he rolled away. Unfortunately, he rolled a 6 and got himself a wild wood. So he's going to have to get out of there, as he's got a good chance of taking some hits and probably taking some casualties. So the rest of the Dark Elf movement is like this. Shades move out of the wood, move straight down and right in front of my sisters. The executions at the top there move into the building for some reason. I'm not too sure why Dave did that, but they're out of my way, so I can't complain. The crossbowmen move up as well, just so they get a better shot at my units. And the strange thing I seen here was on the left hand side, the Dark Riders moved up a bit, and the Warlocks only moved up a bit. So I wasn't too sure what Dave was doing, but I didn't mind because they're away from me. So magic for Dave didn't really happen, which was good for me, obviously. But shooting at my Reavers was not so good. So 3 of them took a hit, and panic test for these guys, which they promptly failed, or which he promptly failed, and off he went, off towards the end of my table. More shooting here from the Shades, and they take 3 more of my sisters out, which isn't great because these guys are getting pummeled. And more shooting over here. I got away with it with the bolt thrower, actually. I only lost 1 guy, but there is more to come. And that was all the shots that went at him. So that is the end of my silver hams. But he didn't shoot at my Phoenix, so that is a plus as far as I'm concerned. At least he's going to have a chance to do something. So high elf turn 2. Main unit of spearmen plus my 2 characters, they march up so I can get them in range. I mean, I won't shoot my river bow this turn, but that's okay. And then I move my Phoenix Guard up there just to protect them, just to get them into maybe range for doing something. I know they'll get shot by the crossbowmen, but I don't really think they're going to do too much to me anyway. The main problem was the Phoenix. I had 2 choices really. Was I going to charge the Dark Riders, which would have gotten rid of them, but meant I only moved probably 3 or 4 inches, or move straight up there, get an angle for a charge in my next turn, which would probably bring me in through the bolt thrower into the other bolt thrower. So I decided to do that instead. Hindsight, maybe I should have got rid of the Dark Riders and then try to cast Walk Between Worlds, but I wasn't guaranteed I was going to get the dice for that, so I just said I'd move it up and take a chance really. Over here though, I decided to charge in here with my archers, because these guys have great weapons. Well, the Shades have great weapons. I'd strike first, might kill a guy or 2, and you know, maybe we'll win the combat, and he might fail, who knows. But it's a better idea to do that than just sit there and shoot them, because I mean, it's just so hard to hit them when they're skirmishing. I mean, it's a problem. And then I moved the sisters just over a bit there so they can take some shots at the Dark Riders in the corner. Oh, I rallied over there on the left as well, actually. I forgot about that. The Reaver rallies, and on a double 1, believe it or not. Fantastic stuff. Just move him straight back into where he was. I might as well leave him there. He's dead anyway. So magic phase was 0. So shooting phase went off, and the sisters just kill 1 Dark Rider, unfortunately. So, well, 1 was better than none. Bolt throwers then open up and kill a few of these guys. So onto the first close combat of the game, which is nice. So archers go in there and they do a couple of wounds, which is great, and they kill 2 Shades, which is great, which I didn't expect them to do really. Firing back, then there's only 1 guy able to fire back because we're at their side, and he kills a guy obviously because great weapons and chops me up. But we win the combat through wounds, charge, side charge, and a couple of ranks there as well. So what happens? If Shades run, now maybe I shouldn't have charged, or I shouldn't have charged. I shouldn't have tried to run him down. Maybe I should have let him go, let him rally, and then shoot him. But I didn't want to take the chance because they're skirmishers and they wreck my fucking head. So I went to get them, but we failed, and we're an inch behind. So Dark Elves turn 3, and unfortunately the old Dark Riders decide to rally and then run right behind my Frost Phoenix to take a couple of shots. So not good. Other movement then is crossbowmen there on the right move up. The executioners step out of the building after they had their piss up in the brewery or whatever they were doing in there. Shades rally and then just turn around and face me, and he just moves up his Dark Riders and his Warlock bus again, and I'm still at a loss as to why he was doing that. So Dave casts Melikoth's Mystifying Miasma, and he mainly so I wouldn't be running away or shooting him, and he gets a 3 as well, so all my stuff is down by 3, which is not good. And High Elf turn 3, and happily I can say that because both bolt throwers missed the Phoenix. 1 hit and failed to wound, and the other one missed, got himself a 2. So lucky me, Phoenix gets to go straight into that bolt thrower. Other movement then, my archers take 1.5 inches step backwards because they have no movement whatsoever. Phoenix Guard move up just so they can hopefully threaten and take some shots away from my spearmen because I don't want them shooting them. And the spearmen move up as well. So the high elf magic phase, and in the last phase I had gotten rid of a scroll, which was lovely. So threw a few dice of fiery convocation and off it went. Got rid of 6 guys, which isn't really a lot considering what I should have done. But at least we got that spell off, and it's going to hamper him for a turn or two. So onto the shooting phase, and the main part of my shooting was everybody here shooting at the shades. We got rid of 4 of them, which is pretty good, and then I think we killed a couple of archers and maybe one of the blackguards, or sorry, the executioners as well. Nothing big happened though, unfortunately. So Dark Elf turn 4, and finally the Dark Riders declare a charge on the Lone Reaver. So the Lone Reaver is fucked, so what? I don't care. He's been doing that for the whole game. He's been dead anyway. Main unit of Warlocks and the Sorceress move up there. I don't know why he didn't move any further than that. He could have moved a lot further, but again, the further away the better they are from me. He had forgotten to move the executioners actually by the end of his turn, and he was about to roll the Winds of Magic when we realised that. So we just let him move down, and then the Shade moves down just to get out of the way really for the next charge that's going to be coming in. So Dark Elf turn 4, and if this does sound a bit weird after me starting off the last slide, it's because this program keeps crashing on me and PowerPoint's wrecking my fucking head. But anyway, so the Dark Riders come into the back of the Phoenix looking to get some combat res, which is a good move from Dave really, because I can't thunderstomp them, and I only have 4 attacks, so I can only kill so many guys. Then he moves down his bolt thrower, which we had thought was a good idea, but now looking back on it, I wouldn't have been able to overrun because it's the second round of combat. So it doesn't really matter, and more than likely I'll be still in combat anyway. And then as you can see, the archers down there have been taking a bit of a battering from bolt throwers and from fiery convocation. There's not many left. And I think he did dispel fiery convocation. I'm not too sure now, I can't remember. But onto combat, and the Dark Riders finally get rid of the Reaver, who has been long overdue hiding, and he gets it, so that's the end of him. And onto the combat up here, and the Phoenix does his best to kill the Dark Riders, but he only gets 3 of them. So 1 of them is left, which means, and he's the standard bearer, which means that he has a charge, a rear, and a standard bearer. So he wins by 1. Luckily enough, we managed to pass our break test, because if I had broken there, I probably would have been run down and killed. So high elf turn 4, and the archers continue their backward walk towards my other side of the table. They're going to be in all sorts of trouble, but at least now it's going to be a front charge and not a side charge as it probably would have been. Sisters down the bottom don't go anywhere because they want to get rid of that feckin' Shade. Moving over here, then I just reformed the Phoenix Guard, just to give me an option to either go over to the Executioners, or, well, I'm probably going to leave the other archers over there. I mean, we're just going to shoot them dead soon anyway, so I'll just leave them alone. I'm just going to get ready for the Executioners when they come over, and then I just move up my Spearmen. And Bolt Thrower is dead. I actually popped my Potion of Strength and got the Reaver Bow out, and got a couple of wounds in this guy, so we got rid of that, which is good stuff. And then the sisters get rid of the final Shade, so that's even better stuff. And on to combat then, and finally the Phoenix does a nice job. He managed to kill the Dark Rider and get rid of the Bolt Thrower as well. So I just do a little reform, and then hopefully I'll get to do something else in this game, because I have a bad feeling about the next turn. So Dark Elf turn 5, and the Executioners barrel in towards my remaining archers, so that should be the end of them. And then the Dark Riders just move on down here just to take a couple of shots at my sisters. And then Dave moves his big unit of Warlocks plus Sorceress straight over towards, that's right, the Frost Phoenix. So that should be fun. And the magic phase gets rid of the Frost Phoenix. The Doom Bolt was just catastrophic. I think it was 20 hits or something like that. It was ridiculous, and it was far too high for me to spell. He didn't miscast, and I think it was just too high for me to spell, even with my book re-rolling the dice. So Frost Phoenix is toast. And the rest of the magic phase is Mystifying Miasma has been cast on my Phoenix Guard, so they won't be getting away anytime soon. So the Dark Riders take a few pot shots at my sisters and get rid of another one of them, so they're down to 4 now, which is not good. And this wasn't very good either. Now, we did manage to kill 4 guys, which is bad for a pack of archers. But unfortunately, we've only 1 left, and he runs away as fast as possible. Now, Dave did not pursue, which I was kind of surprised about. But then again, I suppose he didn't want to pursue in case I did manage to charge him with my Phoenix Guard. Because we have always strikes first, and we would have been re-rolling, etc., etc. We probably would have killed quite a few of them before he got to attack me. So maybe it was probably a better idea for him. But still, it would have been fun if I had got the chance. So high off turn 5, and the Sisters of Avalon decide that they better get the hell out of the charge arc of those executioners, or they're dead. So straightforward, and they should be able to get some shots on those Dark Riders. Oh, I'd love to get rid of those Dark Riders. Rest of my movement then is my archer, who didn't roll a double 1 and ran very, very close to my Phoenix Guard, and they take a step back, but not very far because their movement is -2. Then the spearmen move up a little bit so they can hopefully cast a couple of spells, and I'd actually made a little mistake because I moved them too far forward, so they were within shooting distance of a Doombolt very soon. But sure, he can move 18 anyway, so I'm screwed no matter what. So I wasn't close enough to do a soul quench in these guys, so all I had left really was Arcane Unforging, because there was no point trying to further complicate these guys. It was too high, didn't want to risk a miscast, so I threw out an Arcane Unforging on his standard bearer. Didn't kill him, but I got rid of the flaming banner, so it was something at least. Sisters shoot at the Dark Riders and only kill 1, so that wasn't much good. And Dark Elf turn 6. Now, unfortunately, the picture of the movement of these guys was brutal, so I couldn't use it. Unfortunately, I could use this picture, which is all my guys getting killed. What happened was Dave moved his big unit Warlocks as far, well, as close as pretty much he could towards me, so he get himself a nice Doombolt, which he did. A miscasted Doombolt at that. Rolled the dice and killed every single one of my spearmen. So that's lots of points for Dave, but at least it was a miscast, so I might have a chance. Then I realised that because the Warlocks miscast, it's only D3. So he rolled a 3, rolled 3 dice, and lost 2 Warlocks. So I think that was a pretty good trade off for him. So high off turn 6, and I've nothing left really but to turn around my Sister of Avalon. And actually, I cheated here. But my bad, Dave. I must tell you on Thursday when I go down. These guys can't swift reform because they have no musician, and I didn't actually cop that because there's a musician in the fucking unit, and I didn't. I'm an idiot. So at least it didn't do anything to the game, and I only killed 2 2 executioners who mean fuck all anyway. So I cheated, but I'm very sorry, Dave. Forgive me. So all I had left really was my spell casting. So what can I do but move the Phoenix Guard, who had passed the panic check because the archer went straight through them. They swiftly formed and moved a bit to the right hand side. Then I got my BSB and popped him into that unit, so he'd be safe in case my guy miscast. Now I suppose it actually didn't really matter because I only would have lost 1 wound. I don't know why I did it really, just to do something. So I'm just getting ready for my mage to hopefully cast a few spells. And that's what he tried, but he didn't succeed. So I got Arcane Unforging off and got rid of his Talisman of Preservation. So he doesn't have a ward save anymore. But I threw Soul Quench at this unit and he dispelled it, and that was pretty much the end of my magic phase. So my final shooting phase. Bolt Thrower 1 opens up, gets rid of 2 of the Crossbowman's friends, and he decides, I've had enough of this shit, I'm running, and he's gone. But he doesn't get too far away, so the other Bolt Thrower opens up and takes him out. So at least I get some points for that unit. And that's the end of the game. So when we tallied up all the victory points, I actually ended up winning this game by 198, which means I won 11-9. That is not a fair reflection of this game, because if Dave had moved that Warlock bus around to where it should have been, he would have taken me out piece by piece, and I would have gotten nothing. That Warlock bus thing with its Doombolts and shit is just lethal. It's absolutely lethal, and I've nothing to really counteract it. And if I've no Dispel Scroll, I can't even stop it once because I just can't seem to get the dice rolls that he gets. It's unbelievable. What did I learn from this? I like my army. It's pretty cool. It's nice. It's nice and balanced, and it's quite fun. But against something like that, I just don't think I have the skill to win with it. This was a lucky result, and I think maybe 8 times, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to get a hiding. This is just the one time where I got lucky. Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it, and I think that I'm going to keep this army for 2 or 3 more weeks to see how it goes, paint up the models, and then maybe make a couple of changes just to get myself maybe up to a 10.5, maybe an 11, and see how that works out. But it was a good game. Dave played well, and I think he's going to do very well with his units. And if he gets anything else, I think he's going to move up to something like a 10.5 by taking something else. And if he does that and has the warlocks as well, he's going to do pretty well. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks very much.